Hello. The
I was
heck?
going to say.
I got you.
We were all tearing up because there's no more Debo Samuel in the intro, so like we didn't know what to
Yeah.
do. Yeah, we needed a
What's
minute.
up, everybody? Welcome to the East Coast Red and Gold podcast. I'm Niners Jess, along with Ty Alston, Maddie B, and your girl Bex. The four of us are back.
We back, baby.
What's going on? It's good to see everybody.
Good to see
Hello,
everybody.
The
Good
whole
to be
gang
here.
is back together.
That's right.
Jess's hat, by the way, everybody says Bay Area upside down. It does not say Sloppy Joe. That was right before we went on the air, so that was a good
I
time.
can confirm that it does say Bay Area
It is
and
true.
not Sloppy Joe.
Correct. That is correct. That's the first time Jess has ever called me a moron. It was amazing. Honestly, I wish it had happened.
Wait, let me put on the readers. I may or may not be able to read.
Yes,
whatever.
it is the first time I've ever called you a moron, Maddie.
It was the best. She's like, wow, what is wrong with you? How much have you drank already? Like, it was actually crazy. Just water, gang.
I know,
Just
right?
How
water.
much
Give
water
me
have
some.
you had, Matt?
Yeah,
I
I
just
know.
got water.
Like, it must be the fluoride in this
Everyone's on a
water.
water kick tonight.
Probably
Mhm.
spiked. We're all dehydrated.
Yeah.
So we are at Wednesday, March 5th. We are exactly 1 week away from the new league year, Wednesday, March 12th. On Monday, March 10th is the the legal tampering period begins. Yeah, and it should be interesting. I don't know what the 49ers will do. I don't think we'll be too active. Although I've been reading some things where if there are defensive tackles who do come available, we will be very much in the mix.
Sniffing them out, right? Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
We are currently
Um,
heavily into the illegal tampering period right now, which usually is the little bridge period from the combine to here. So yes, you are 100% correct, Jess. 100% correct.
Thank you, Maddie. What's up, Throwback? All right, so the thumbnail for today is Countdown to Free Agency. We got Dre Greenlaw, JP Mason, Josh Sweat, and DJ Jones. Dre Greenlaw, apparently there is a deal, a 1-year deal, prove it deal on the table for him, although it looks like he's hitting free agency. JP Mason, teams inquired about retaining his services. Josh Sweat would be intriguing, but I think would be a lot of money. And then we all know DJ Jones, which I think will actually get younger at the D tackle position in the draft, my opinion. What do you guys think with these first four players? Ty, what do you think?
Greenlaw, we all know Dre's going to test free agency, see what's out there, see what his money is. I think he's a guy right now thinking of long-term security, future. This guy's been injured. He's been injured in college. He's been injured in the pros, and he's not getting younger. So if you get that big contract now, get it. So he's going to test it, see what offers he gets, and that's smart to do. It's best for what's him and his family. I know we want him back, but we got to see what he wants to do. DJ Jones, I think it'd be good at the right price. I don't think they want to pay a veteran a lot of money to come in, unless he's a true difference maker, a la Myles Garrett or someone, So that's a bit of a stretch for me. Honestly, I think they'll go in the draft and try to get someone, unless they could get someone on the cheap end, kind of like what they did last year. Sweat, I don't think we'll be able to afford him, to be honest with you. I think he's going to look for, upwards of 15, 20 million, right? He's just coming off a Super Bowl victory, difference maker. I don't think he's going to take cheap money. And JP Mason, I know we want him around. We'll probably give him like a second round, third round tender, and see if anybody wants to pony up that kind of capital to get him. So yeah, so JP's the only guy I know for sure could still be around. The rest, huge question marks.
Becca, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree 100% Ty on the JP Mason piece. He, I think if we put him on a second rounder, I don't think we're going to see a lot of people bite on that. But I think we need him. I think we want to keep him around. You know, he's been a solid piece for us. And I think we want to keep him in the rotation. You know, McCaffrey is not getting younger, and his issues seem to crop up. And when they do, they're not short-term problems. And to have somebody like JP who's already gotten out there and proven himself behind him, I think that's a guy you want to keep around. I do, even though I hear the draft class is very deep in running backs. They're not going to be road ready when they walk on the field. So I think, you know, JP Mason, keeping him around is big thing that I don't see us moving away from him. Dre Greenlaw is going to do exactly what you said. He's going to do what he needs to do. These guys that are making it clear they're going to test free agency, Funga, those guys, they're going to take the best offer that's on the table, and there's nothing we can do about it. As much as we would love to keep him and have him, he's an excellent player when he's on the field and healthy. He's probably gone. So, yeah. And I don't even know and I think you're right about the Philly guy. I don't think we're going to.
Josh.
I don't think we're going to have without the Brock Purdy contract being decided and knowing what our numbers are and how we carry the one and, you know, divide the two and renegotiate other people and pick up some other guys in free agency that we need. I'm not sure we're going to jump on these high dollar guys right away. We're just not. It's not our style.
What do you think, Maddie?
I think anybody from the Eagles right now is probably going to be a little overpriced, and it's probably going to take a lot to poach them, right? Like back in the olden days, I remember players when the Cowboys started to fall off a little bit, it was because teams were starting to overpay for their kind of side players, right? Like the 49ers really did it first when they extracted Ken Norton Jr. from the defense, right? That was probably the first, I think, want to say salvo fired, right? Since the Charles Haley trade. So something similar in this case when it comes to Philly, right? You know, starting to kind of break some of those players off. Like I can see a Milton Williams going somewhere. I can see Sweat going somewhere. I mean, remember guys, Sweat signed for a year and 10 million last year. So the defensive tackle market is weird, right? Is clearly just this weird thing. And few things that we all know, right? You're going to have an updated new system this year, right? Like freshened system, sharpened system. And maybe some guys want to be a part of that. And then you also look at a guy like a DJ Jones, like he only signed for like, what was it? 3 years, 30 million. Like that's again, a year and $10 million, right? He's a little older. Yes. But with the amount of defensive tackles and ends that I think are hitting the market, because a lot of them are getting a chance to check the trade market and they're finding out that, oh, wow, there's no market for me out there. If they're going to get cut, they're just going to get cut. I think you're going to have a lot of guys on the street this year to pick through. And it reminds me a little bit of the offseason before 94, the Charles Manns and the Richard Dents. Those guys were towards the end of their career, but they still had a little gas in the tank and they wanted to sign him, right? And they grabbed Ken Norton Jr. and they grabbed those guys. They did it again later when they got Chris Dolman. Remember, Chris Dolman ended up making it over, and they got Charles Haley back for a couple of games. Like those things are going to happen, and I think you're going to be able to do that. But I think Jones would fit in on that because I think you're going to have a lot of people on the market. The Allen guy from Washington this year, I think odds are he's going to be cut because it looks like there was talk that he was part of the Debo trade, but it ended up falling through because his salary was so high. Well, that tells me that they know that he's probably going to be hitting the streets pretty soon, right? And if he's hitting the streets and he's already got money in his pocket, like maybe he signs for a 1-year prove-it deal and comes out here. I think you have a lot of guys with chips on their shoulders next year. Dre Greenlaw fits that bill, but maybe he goes somewhere else. Maybe he decides to go to Houston, right? I don't know. Maybe they think that he can help control Aziz Al-Shire, right? Help calm him down a little bit, settle him up. I don't know. Could see it. I could see that because they need a shot in the arm a little bit in a couple of different factions over there. They feel like they took a step back last year. They fired the offensive coordinator who was getting head coaching jobs last year. So I think there's a lot of dominoes to fall in this whole thing. And a lot of those guys would fit, but again, it's going to go at the right price. But I really think that defensive tackle market, I really think there's going to be a lot of value there this year. And you've got great guys in the draft already that you're hearing about. So I think this is it. When you need to rebuild your trenches, this was the year to rebuild the trenches draft-wise. I don't know if that's going to be the case free agency-wise, but it seems like a lot of teams are really trying to cut excess space right now, or excess waste cap-wise.
Maddie, I have to laugh because it looks like you're wearing a cape.
I'm just wearing a hoodie.
I know the back,
I
the
know.
back thing is your chair, right? But it looks
Right,
like
yeah,
you know,
that's
the
just my
capes that
chair.
come up.
Yeah. It looks like the Doctor Strange thing, right? It
Yes.
actually does. It looks like it's right there. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah.
It's
Some
okay, he can't-
superheroes do
You
wear
can't
capes.
read upside down, Jess. So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's awesome.
I was still like, how do you get sloppy joes out of Bay Area? But okay.
I can't see at it. Like one of my eyes is super blurry, so it was kind of like I don't know. Somehow it just showed up as the upside down bay for some reason looked like Joe's. I don't know. So I'm like, what else would go with Joe's? Sloppy, right? Like I don't know.
Do you need to borrow them out?
There's a place around here. There's a local place called Aroma Joe's, but like I'm like that wouldn't be something they'd have in Jersey. So yeah.
Sloppy, yeah.
See, we learn these are the things I think about sometimes as we're getting ready to go. Go on the air. Get ready to go.
What about Jamie and Sherwood from the Jets at linebacker? If we lose Dre Greenlaw,
Depends. How's the market going to be?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's really what it is. Someone stupid enough to overpay like way more than they should? Is somebody going to blow the doors off everybody else? Like market's looking weird this year. There's a bunch of teams that are kind of going to have money to spend, but at the same time, there's really nothing to spend them on, right? T. Higgins is off the market. Somebody else just went off the market today too, if I remember correctly. So it's kind of like, okay, so who we signing in free agency? Like it seems like it's going to be one of those years where, like, remember when Christian Kirk got $4,800 million a few years ago? Like it seems like one of those deals. Like who got what and why? Like it seems like it's one of those years, off season wise, and I think the 49ers will come out big in that. They seem to me like they're like that crazy uncle that goes to the estate sales and or goes to the storage locker sales, right? Makes just a little bit of money, makes just enough
Storage
money,
hunting,
and then slides on over to the convenience store, grabs a coffee, pack of cigarettes, grabs a couple lottery tickets. Sure enough, wins $5,000 on the lottery ticket, right? Then takes that money, spins it into something else, and then he wins something at the horse track. Like that's the type of vibe that they put off sometimes, and I think that's when they're at their best. And right now, like there are a couple of like thrifting antiquers, and I think this is their jam. Like this is them finding stuff and looking for some unpolished gems out there. Looking for those safeties that could be linebackers or those running backs that could also be running wide receivers, or those wide receivers that could also be running backs. Like I think this is going to rejuvenate them a little bit. So I'm kind of excited about this offseason to see what they come up with.
all right, let's talk a little Debo.
Just real quick on Sherwood.
Oh, yep, go ahead. Sorry.
He's one of those young people are considered up and coming linebackers. And like Matt said, those are the guys that usually get big money. Like somebody will throw money at them. So it's like, yeah, he's good and all, but he might be priced way out of our price range. So good luck.
Green Bay needs a linebacker that would probably fit that mold, right?
There's a couple of teams that need a linebacker that got more cash than we do.
And Robert Saleh, I'm pretty sure last I checked, was doing some consulting for the Packers last year, so they did pick his brain because they paid him to do so. So unfortunately, he did give them some information. Now, whether they utilize that to screw us, I don't know, but hold on, Magic 8 Ball, signs point yes. So that's what I think is going to happen there.
You shouldn't even think of it as
Give up all of his power. I doubt it. He's not going to give he's not going to show all his cards.
you shouldn't even think about it as screwing us. It's just the business of football.
Right. Yeah. It's
Like
just
teams are
how
gonna
it
do
works.
what's best for them. Like shit, if I want that player and I got the money, I'm gonna go get that player.
But if it still happens to be a fringe benefit of screwing a team you hate, then hey, all the better, right? So, and I'm sure there's absolutely some teams that they don't mind doing it with flair too, right? Like, I promise you, Howie Roseman felt really good signing Saquon Barkley away from the Giants. Like, felt tremendous, like beaming pride, even before everything went down the way the universe made it go down. So, yeah.
Well, as far as Jamie and Sherwood, I mean, it depends what happens with Dre Greenlaw, but I know he'd probably be pricey. But at the same time, we have Robert Saleh, and it would be nice if he took a discount. Why not? Robert Saleh's there.
I mean, it'd
And
be
then
great,
there's
but
always the next year to renegotiate, like they always do. Like we seem to be the kings and queens of renegotiating everyone's deal. So, and come in on a team-friendly contract next year. We'll, do something. We do that all the time.
To me, it sounds like who's going to go multi-years with Dre Greenlaw, with him coming off that Achilles injury and then coming off the injury of overcompensating for recovering from the Achilles injury. So that's going to scare some teams away a little bit, especially, for everything Aaron Rodgers did to show people how quickly you could come back from a potential Achilles thing before the Jets imploded the year before last. Kirk Cousins set the whole thing back with how he played last year coming off of an Achilles injury, right? So, and that's another, you need a guy who's going to be explosive coming off the ball, and he needs to be explosive for 16 to 20 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
How are we feeling about that? I'm going to level with you. I love Dre Greenlaw, and I know his attitude is absolutely perfect, and I know that sometimes things need to be done, but man, I would really like to see D Winters just get the shot there. If we're going to draft and develop guys, why the hell don't we, let them play once in a while? That's what I would like to, because when D Winters plays, he plays well. He
does, but he's got to stay healthy though.
Well, that's what I was going to say. He's got to stay healthy. And, are you playing at a Dre Greenlaw level? So,
Well, that's hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
it's hard. It's hard. So when we're talking
but
about
a handful of guys in the whole league
not
playing at Dre Greenlaw's level.
But the other thing we have this year I think is a defensive coordinator that might actually, I don't know, scheme around the fact that you don't have Dre Greenlaw playing linebacker anymore in the year of our Lord 2023. I think that was the major problem last year. I think that was the biggest issue we had. We were built off of what ifs, and then this is what we should have had. Well, where the hell were the adjustments? You're supposed to be the master there, genius. Where was it? Oh, there wasn't any. The defense was as vanilla last year as the broken down McDonald's ice cream machine. Fred Warner was out there killing himself. And for what? For Nick Bosa to be held and him to play with a fractured foot. Damn. Sheesh.
And that's the key with these young guys. Robert Saleh knows how to coach this defense. He knows how to get guys in the proper position and keep them disciplined to play their assignments so that they thrive, especially along the front, that front seven. That's his whole thing. So you can see a third-year guy like a D Winters taking a step and being much better this year.
100%. Because that message is going to be so much more direct this year. You're not going to have head chef Kyle in the kitchen with the defensive coordinators, right? The defensive people are over here making the desserts, right? Kyle's coming in, he's like, "Hey, how's that dessert?" He throws a little something in it. Well, the dessert's good, but like he was in there. Well, now he probably stay the hell away from it now. Salah's in there, and guess what? All of a sudden, there's a little more spice in the offense. That's where it needs to be. So Snell's going to handle everything on the defensive side. Like that trust is back. That triumphance there. So I think there's a lot of good things to like, and I think I think the way they build this team is going to set it up for the next, great and bountiful empire. Hopefully, a little more bountiful, and an actual empire as opposed to just an NFC West flag planting.
So Deebo Samuel to the Commanders for a 5th round pick. I know this happened Saturday, but we haven't talked about it. What do you guys think, Becca?
Well, I'm surprised it's in the NFC. On one hand, although Adam Peters' deep connection there, I did not think he would go to an NFC team, but I think Deebo's going to do well there. He's gonna be fine. I just hope it doesn't go back to bite us in the ass in the playoffs or something. With him being, in the NFC. But I think Deebo seemed happy with it, and hopefully our 5th round pick pans out, or whatever measly little 5th round pick we got for him. So that's
I was hoping he would have went to Houston.
Yeah, me too, because I would have put him in the AFC and not. Yeah,
But at
that's
the same time, Deebo of now is not the Deebo
Yes.
of 2021.
People have figured him out a little bit, and I think that also bodes well for the rest of the league, that people already know how to scheme against him and do some things against Deebo. So as long as he's healthy, Deebo's going to be fine. He's going to be a marquee player for Washington, and he's going to be all right. But we've got, I think that's the stronger case to keep JP Mason around,
Hi.
I'm good. Seen it coming for 2 years. Okay, cool. He's gone. We got the Saints 5th. We know we work magic with that 5th, so we'll get a good player. And we're moving on. That's all.
It's like,
Patty, what do you think?
next.
I'm just
Who helps Trent Williams with the boombox now? Like, how's that work? Like, that's what I'm-
well, he'll get a new dance partner for sure.
Yeah.
Somebody will
Somebody's-
step up.
I hope it's Ricky Pearsall. Like, that would be
When-
great.
When
But
Trent Williams asks you to dance, you dance.
yeah,
I
that's
think
why-
you're right.
that's
Ricky
why I so
Pearsall.
badly want it to be Ricky Pearsall, right? Like,
Ricky
just
Pearsall is the solid next man up for the boombox drop.
smooth-
Exactly. It's all about next man up.
Ricky P.
Totally
on the-
deserving of that position.
smooth Ricky P on the beatbox, friends. That's what I
Yes.
would like there. Honestly, like Deebo to me reminds me of that Jeep Wrangler you brought brand new, and like now you put like 115,000 miles on it, and some weekends were really, really rough, and you asked that Jeep Wrangler to do a lot more than you really needed it to do. And most weekends, Jeep Wrangler showed up. Sometimes it broke down, right? And you had to get it repaired, but at the end of the day, it was there for you. You know that you're ready for something else, and you're probably looking for some sort of hybrid SUV model right at this point. So you decide it's time to, trade your Wrangler, you put it on the lawn, and hey, get your 5th round pick, right? Last year the deal is gone. That $31.4 million comes off the books, so that gets all eaten up this year with whatever, and some of the cap stuff that rolled over last year. I don't know how that all works, because remember
And the
there was a
cap
bunch
went
they
up.
rolled over.
It's fine.
There was a bunch of different things there. The cap's a myth. Stop it. They'll figure it out. That's why Parag makes the big bucks, right? And also why they lowball players on offers to begin with in the first place. But at the end of the day, I'm joking. They don't do that. Maybe, I don't know. That's what some people say. We'll probably talk about that later. But, I think it ran its course. He was ready for something different. There was always something new with him. And at the end of the day, he had his best year in 2021. Next year is going to be the year 2025. So if he comes close to that, then wow, we really screwed up. If he just does what he did the last couple of years, then Washington has upgraded their receiver room absolutely for sure. But I like the potential ceiling of a Cowing. I like the potential ceiling of a Pearsall. I'd like to see what we have in them, right? And if we don't have anything, then how about Terrell Owens, young man? Like, I think that young man might have a little bit to say. He's got some skills as well.
Well, apparently, according to Tim Kawakami, they are excited about Tariq Owens, and they're also good with the wide receiver room. However,
they were really excited about him last year, so I'm glad they kept him around.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still think that we need a vet in the room until BA comes back.
Like a Chris Conley vet or like a Devontae Adams vet?
No,
or like a Christian Kirk vet, or
Robert Woods ish.
Bobby Trees, huh? You want Bobby Trees?
Some Bobby Tree action.
Bobby
Trees.
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Something
you can get
along
it delivered
those lines.
there. Yeah. Yep.
I don't think Devontae Adams is coming to us. I think he's actually going to go to the Chargers.
Well, and that's why I'm asking. Like, I didn't. Well, I think it all depends on where anybody goes, but I think the Chargers is probably your best bet for that dude. I think the Chargers actually end up going to the Super Bowl out of the AFC this year. So,
ooh, big statement.
That's interesting.
Ooh, bold prediction.
No, it's Harbaugh year.
First.
I'm not saying they're going to win it. Let's just calm the hell down.
No,
but the fact that they're getting there.
Yeah, I think they get
there.
I think they get there. I think this is going to be a really weird year. I think it's setting up to be a weird year. It's a weird off season. The draft is weird. Like, you know what? That's a really good question. And like, if they do sign him, somebody needs to ask this. Somebody needs to ask.
That's a big question, right? Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah. I don't know. Matty is like slowly getting on my it list. He starts with the sloppy Joes, then we bring in the Jeep Wranglers.
I know. You got two Wrangler people here. I was about to drop the elbow on you.
I could have said like a Cherokee, right? Like, could have said Volkswagen Beetle too, but like he was just.
He's like drip.
You could bring him like off-roading or on the beach or on the road, right? Like you could do all the things. He was like almost like a hovercraft. You could deploy him in multiple ways, right?
Because I'm sitting here and I'm like, damn, what did
I do? A Volkswagen Beetle, you're not going to do.
Does Matt have a problem? Do we need to have an intervention?
You did call me a moron, but no, the Jeep Wrangler was just what I had there. That had absolutely nothing to do with you. Also, I didn't know Ty was a Jeep Wrangler person either. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, we got two Jeep people here.
I didn't mean to pierce both of you. That was tremendous. Well done.
Way to go, Matt. Way to offend everyone.
Just wait, Rebecca. Your turn's coming.
Just wait.
Here we go.
At this point, whatever. I'm kind of numb for the last month. So.
Hear ya. It's been it's been a weird month.
Oh.
A lot of stuff happening this past month. All right, so a little bit of BA. Debo gets traded, and then the next thing, is BA on the trade block. What could we get for him? What do you guys think?
I don't know.
That's right. There's another one.
No.
Yeah,
I don't think we're trading BA unless there's some magical offer on the table.
Maddie?
Yeah.
Houston needs a receiver. And I think a lot of teams are going to be, I think there's going to be a lot of outside the box thinking this year. And I think something like that is, if the 49ers really are down with selling low on BA, right? For whatever reason, whether they are or not is not up for me to decide, because I'm not here to decide that. And they think that $17 million cap hit for this year is fine, which is what it would be, and then they're out of that contract. If they can get a conditional, they can get another fifth, and a conditional, like, okay, it's a third if he does this, it's a second if he does this. If we win the Super Bowl and put people on the moon, it's a first, right? Like whatever you want to do for the conditions. I think something like that. I think you could see that, and I think you could see that with a lot of guys this year, because I think teams are just are going to go out of their way to acquire talent, but also be able to bail out if the talent doesn't pan, right? Like, I think people are trying to do new things this year. Is really in a lot of different places, right? Like, I just there's a lot of picks. I've never seen so many people be like, blah 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 has asked for a trade, blah 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 has asked for a trade, and half of these guys, I'm like, who, what, why? And then it's like, what's his cap hit? And it's like, what did he do this year? Like Joe Thuney getting traded for a fourth rounder. Like, this dude is an all-pro guard every year, and Chicago just got him. Bless you, by the way. Just got him for a fourth rounder. Chicago's offensive line has been hot garbage on a platter for weeks. But I think that's the thing that frustrates fans, right? Like, I think frustrates a lot of 49ers fans. Weakenings that will bum us out. And then you see another team go out and just trade a fourth rounder for a guy to plug up a hole. You're like, why are we doing that, right? But Joe Thuney's also insanely overpaid. So even Papa J's on it. It's good.
Thank you.
But yeah, I don't think BA's cap hit, if he's going to get traded, I think it's this year. Because there's some sort of, there's an option payment due at some point.
April 1st.
Like, if I would not be shocked if they're trying to get out of it. Like, and if they don't, they're going to say if he does not get traded, they're going to be like, oh, it was totally fine. We wanted him here the whole time. But if it happens before April 1st, like this was part of the long-term plan, and they wanted to clean house in the wide receiver room for whatever reason. So that's a very interesting subplot that I think we should keep an eye on here for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, April 1st is the magical date, and then after that, $29 million is guaranteed. Ty, what do you think?
Internet rumors are dumb. The whole confirmed thing never happened. John Lynch actually said he probably won't be traded because he probably wants something high for him, and no one will give up anything high for a guy coming off a major injury. I just don't see us giving up our number one receiver and having nothing. I mean, we have something, but I don't think Kyle would want to just be starting from scratch, basically. We know how hard he is on receivers. He needs at least two. Not one in the possible, right? So, yeah. I don't see him going anywhere unless some team does something idiotic and was like, hey, I'll give you a first next year and something for him. Which, once again, I don't see happening, but you never know. But he's not available anyway, so.
Say it again?
He's not available anyway, so,
Yeah.
He was never on the market.
And this could be another one of those things too,
Yeah.
just to kind of follow up on what Ty said, which is another really good point. Somebody could just be pointing it out there to be like, oh, hey, by the way, like just a little, put your name up there in trade rumors to keep you motivated, right? That can be a thing, or somebody's out there trying to get somebody out there for their guy. Like, it's draft season. Like, we don't know who's saying what. Like, this guy's cocky, this guy's not cocky. Like, this is the the base of the bullshit right now at this point, right? So it's slinging heavy, wide, and far. So
it's combine season, and we know what happens at the combine.
Exactly. And that's why I said earlier, a legal tampering period, right? It's that long. Yep. This is where all these conversations start.
Yeah.
They all go out to the restaurant. They all eat. They all have the off
the bar.
They're all there. Oh, I just happened to run into blah, 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 right? Like just, Matt Stafford and Tom Brady just happened to run into each other at the resort. Wow. Gosh, golly gee. And like that stuff happens. So, and that's where it all starts. And now all that stuff happens. And then all of a sudden in the first day of legal tampering, like free agency will be done by Monday. Like everybody will
Yeah,
have
oh, yeah,
already
yeah,
done
yeah.
it. Whoop, that's it.
You hear
'Cause all the
you hear
deals are getting
contracts
done
announced.
right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, we're in the illegal tampering period. Then we go to the legal tampering period, and then we go to where it gets official. Can we just go to the draft already and give us a schedule? God's sakes, just get us a
Yeah.
schedule.
Get a schedule.
A
I still
schedule
don't
with
understand why the
dates.
schedule is in May.
Because we have to see
Yeah.
who goes where in free agency and who gets traded in
Exactly.
places and who goes to the draft
Yeah,
now, which is
but
absolute
Spectacle
hot
of it all.
garbage on
Come on,
a
Eddie.
platter. But
We've got
yet,
trips
here
to
we are.
plan.
But it's
They
like
still
fans
screw it up
won't
every
buy
year.
tickets before the draft. They could announce the schedule
Yes.
in December, and people will buy tickets for the next
Major League
season.
Baseball
Like,
does.
Yeah.
Literally, they announced the
Exactly.
next year in September when like stuff like let's
It's the
go.
dumbest
They
thing.
already have the opponents. They already know when the stadiums are available. Like, what are
They
we
know.
doing?
Right.
It's the NFL. Everything has to be an event.
Yes, it's spectacle.
Yeah,
It's a
true.
big deal now. It's
Hmm.
showboating. Yeah.
What do you think
Yeah,
of
and there might be
McMiner's
honestly,
comment?
Dave. I was about to say what David's saying there too. There might even be a wave 3 of it, right? Like we might not. Honestly, this team might not be done adding players until right up until training camp because I think you're going to see a lot of guys hit the market for bargain basement prices. I just think there's going to be a glut of people getting cut this year because it just seems like there already is, and there's a lot every year, but it seems like even more so this year, and it seems to be guys that this team needs, right? So a lot of unpolished diamonds potentially out there, right? Like when DJ Jones was on the way up, those type of guys, right? Those type of,
I just want Brock Purdy to be extended.
He will be.
George Kittle, Fred Warner,
Also, George Kittle will be. Yeah.
and Juwan Jennings.
Yeah. They'll be fine.
Yeah.
well,
Like sooner rather than later, because I'm, with the whole, like the last few years of the contracts and when they were, agreed upon, blah, 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 Brock's needs to be done ASAP.
Yes, because his is the foundation of everyone else. So
Brock will be fine when the contract is signed.
I mean, Brock will be fine, but I think the terms and conditions of his.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I want the contract to be done before.
Oh, yes, but way before,
at a reasonable time.
Exactly, and I at least it's March, and they're working on it, so that's a good first step for us. We're never this early.
Hey, Diamador Lenore, take Brock under your wing. Show the young man how it's done. Yes. Your professionalism paved the way.
Yes. And what is he out doing right now? He is out publicly recruiting people to go to this team. Brock Purdy could be doing the same thing. He'd be like, listen, I take a little bit less so I can get other people in. Right.
His negotiations. That's the way to go. That's professionalism right there. 101. He should be the model for all these guys.
Also, the way this is
Debos and Ayuks of the world.
Also, the way this is
smile on his face. I love him to death.
Also, the way this is setting up, like you can set things up so that the cap hit comes in year 2, year 3. So yeah, if they're cutting guys now, but that stuff's falling off next year, like people forget. I don't think they understand. A lot of people do not know how the cap works, right? Like, so that just it's a thing. So yeah, it could be and also like Brock isn't just making 940 this year. Like he's on the hook to make almost $6 million this year, which is awesome, right? Like good that he's got that, but now that actually allows some stuff to be able to be carved out. So now instead of that $5 million contract, maybe they drop him down to a guarantee of 1.25, and then he gets his bonus. They can do all sorts of stuff with that now. There's a little bit of wiggle room in all those things. So yeah. Also, Juwan Jennings is going to have to wait a little bit, but yeah, that ought to be a decent market. But the cool part is, I don't think he's going to need like Debo, Brandon Ayuk money, right? Like, I don't think he's going to need that, which I think is awesome. Yep.
McNiner wants to know if we think that Brock will show up for the offseason program while negotiating.
Well, if he wants to live up to his contract, he will. If he doesn't, he won't. You know, that's how that works. Nobody seems to recover from that for a long time.
Has there ever really been a quarterback besides maybe like Jordan Love missing a couple practices that have actually like held out?
Mhm.
That's a Matt
I
question.
can't think of it.
Well, let's see.
Yeah.
Totally a Matt question.
Rodgers kind of did a thing with the Packers.
Aaron Rodgers was the only one I was
He's always
thinking,
doing
towards the end.
something.
right? Like he,
Favre had some weird shit with the Packers.
Once again. Green Bay quarterbacks.
Thank you. No, everybody else is pretty good. And so look at it from there. When do OTAs start, right? So you would expect it to be done then. But the off-season period, they've got that little rookie thing that happens right after the draft that they have people in literally the next weekend for, or sometimes the same week. Like, I want my starting quarterback there. I want my starting quarterback meeting everybody and everything else. Like, now I know when an offensive player gets taken by this team, they don't ever want to use them as a rookie because they have something wrong with them, I guess. I don't know. Or they have to go through like multiple years of Kyle's doghouse. But, you know, I would want everybody to know what's going on and who Brock is and maybe get some extra stuff with them. Like, you know, Ricky Pearsall. I would hope Ricky Pearsall is there for everything this year too. Like if I were him, like I would even show up for rookie stuff and get everything. Just I would do all the things that I could possibly be doing this year to make up on all the crap that I lost last year for all the because he was injured before he got shot. Like it wasn't just he got shot. Like he was injured before then, and you know he had some injuries after that too. So he's going to show he can stay healthy.
Yeah, these guys should be arranging throwing sessions with Brock. You know, even before OTAs, all that, like they normally, like a lot of guys do. So they should be hooking up on their own and getting some work in. But yeah, I think Brock will show up. Like I said, Demo, take him under your wing. You're the blueprint.
49er Media, who is going to sign him? That's my question.
Going back to the Brock throwing with Ricky Pearsall and maybe Jacob Cowing, like they'll probably go out to Arizona because they all seem to be Arizona based.
I know. Yeah, it's weird. But that's good though. That creates some type of click where it's like they're more comfortable with each other and just go and you know, work it out.
It's very true. Let's see. Hold on. I saw a question here. I don't know what happened to it. All right. So a couple weeks ago, I had thought that at pick number 11, we would go D tackle. But now I'm thinking offensive line. What do you guys think?
Running back.
And in particular, Armand Membu from Missouri. That's who I'm thinking.
What makes him so good?
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything about this dude until he ran the 40.
No, I saw a clip of him against Stewart. And he literally like mauled him into the ground. And I was just like, wow, like we don't have anybody that does that besides Trent Williams. And and Dominic Pooney before he hit like the rookie wall towards the end of the season.
Yeah, it'd be great to get some sort of beast mode person on that offensive line so that Trent Williams doesn't have to keep that level up the whole year and to kind of pair up with Pooney a little bit and kind of set that bookend for whatever you're going to do. I would love that. But honestly, I think they'll, I don't know. I continue to think tight end or running back myself.
I think running back too. Everything I'm reading, it's this magical running back draft class. So that's what everyone keeps pointing to. I think if there's a shot that we're going to take anyone, we're going to go with, the high return on investment and go running back.
I mean,
Punter or we riot.
Yeah, punter or we riot. Yeah,
that's right. Start the revolution.
No. I mean, we already know there's going to be a running back in the third round because they've got comp picks and Bobby Turner, so we already do that. And I know we all want to go trenches.
We haven't done that in ages.
I don't know how
Get
many
some new
times
material.
I know, right? It's Trey Sermon. Yeah, Isaac Garendo was what, 4th round? Yeah, exactly.
I think so.
But the other part of that in terms of that stuff, like I remember the articles that I've read with specifically Forster, where they're like, they talk about not grabbing offensive linemen early because they want to grab their skill players there, their flyers and their talent there. So, I could see them. I still could see them going to the Ty Warren if the kid from Boise State ends up there. Sweet, I would love that, man. Like then trade Jordan Mason for somebody if somebody wants him. Maybe there's some sort of running back curve right now where people are like, wow, this guy's undervalued. So who knows? Or go get Cam Skidabo later on. Like I'd love him learning shit in this back end system. Like there's a lot of talent in this draft that I think would fit here perfectly, no matter what round they're drafted in. I don't care what round they're drafted in. Do they fit? Can they stay healthy?
Simple.
And if they know what they're doing, right? Those things happen. Odds are you're probably going to be in good shape.
There you go. The game plan all along has been trenches, trenches, trenches. I don't know why everyone's wavering right now, but I see that still being the game plan. Like we got skill players out the wazoo. We got enough running backs. We got wide receivers. Aside from a backup tight end, we're covered. So like, take care of the trenches. That's where we need to reload and restock. We saw in the Super Bowl when those guys wore down, what happened? We need to reload there.
I think we'll do some of that in free agency too. Like, I think that's going to play into what we do in the draft. How much of the trenches we take care of in free agency, then come at it from the draft angle too.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that whoever we take at 11, the fans are going to have a problem with either way.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We always
Oh, yeah.
do.
I mean,
Abdul Carter could fall to 11 and they'd be like,
They could clone Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's available at 11 and we take him and they'd be like, why do we need 2 Nick Bosa?
Why?
Why did they do that?
now you gotta pay 2 of them. Like,
Why didn't they draft the punter?
Yeah. Why do we take a kicker?
why don't we ever take this special team seriously, right? Oh, they're drafting a kicker in the 3rd round. Make up your mind. What do you want? Do you want them to fix the special teams or do you just want to keep them status quoing?
I don't think we use all 11 picks, though.
I do.
Well, we might not use them all this year, but I could see us trading in for future stuff. Like I could also see them jumping in on a couple things for next year, depending on how they feel about next year's draft, right?
Mm-hmm.
McNiner says wide receiver with a 1st round pick 2 years in a row. Not going to happen. Never know.
I don't see that. I don't know if there's not a lot of wide receivers that are very 1st round Grady this year.
Yeah, I don't see any game-changing wide receivers out there. I mean, that 1st rounder at 11, you want somebody that can have impact. Starter now material. I don't think there's a wide receiver out there that's like number 1, number 2 on the depth chart starter material right now, unless there's a team just like has no receivers. And
they need
like, you got to play, kid.
No pressure, but they need a Bryant Young style type hit this year. No, like I said, no pressure, right?
No pressure. Jeez.
None at all.
No pressure. You need a Hall of Famer.
They got him at 7, and they got another Hall of Famer at 11 by the name of Patrick Willis, right? So they've done it before.
Yeah.
It's not out of the realm. And if this is the great of a year at defensive tackles, they should at least be able to get at least a couple time All-Pro out of it, right?
Yeah.
You get somebody better than Javon Hargrave for cheaper, right? That's another reason why I don't think they're going to be going after anybody from Philadelphia. I think they've already shopped at that antique shop, and they didn't really make out that well on the resale value. So I think they're going to go somewhere else.
The early Philadelphia period furniture did not pay.
Exactly. Yeah. Turned out to be IKEA furniture that kind of broke down after a while.
Really did. Yeah.
Somebody replaced a
stay away
finial,
from
and
that.
it's not worth the same value.
Yeah.
100%.
its original condition.
Like Niner says, Ayuk started as a rookie, but we had no one else.
Yeah, and he still got punished like he was.
Yeah, he still got thrown in the doghouse. Like,
He still got thrown in the
I was hard on
doghouse,
him.
and his second year was brutal. Like he didn't. Yeah, there was a reason that Deebo Samuel got so much usage in 2020. Like Brandon Ayuk wasn't allowed to touch the ball.
2021, yeah.
2021, excuse me.
You know who I still like?
George
Brian
Kittle?
Jimmy G?
Burns.
Well, I don't think the Giants are gonna. Maybe next year. Like if the Giants go into full sell-off mode, I could see that. But I feel like their coach and their general manager are kind of into the whole saving their job thing right now. So I don't think you're going to see him on the market anytime soon.
Well, you know what? You just never know. You never know with this league.
Put him on the back burner. Maybe you can lock him in the back of your Jeep Wrangler. Bang! There he is. You know,
With my
Right.
Sloppy Joe's hat.
Exactly.
Sloppy Joe's hat.
You could lure him in. I got Sloppy
in the back of
Joe's.
the Jeep.
Come to the Jeep.
Oh my God.
Got Sloppy Joe.
Come to Sloppy
The
Joe's.
show is taking a turn.
Yeah, definitely. It is
oh my
definitely midweek for sure. It's definitely been a long week. We are brought to you by Faithful Gear. Go on faithfulgear209.com to get your customized Niner gear made for the faithful by the faithful. And go on there because he's got some really cool Fred Warner designs and Joe Montana designs. And tell him that the East Coast Red and Gold sent you. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still excited. I know like some fans are like the sky is falling, like with Deebo it's that left turn that I take periodically on Twitter that like I see all the, the tweets and, that the sky's falling because we no longer have Deebo and,
Tell me
he's
you've
going to have
never watched the National Football League for over 5 years without telling me you haven't watched the National Football League for over 5 years in your life, right? Like
Tell me you didn't watch last season.
last week. Sheesh, these people. Where do they find these people? You got to find that filter and you've got to turn that thing on because you cannot watch those people. They cannot be taken seriously.
I know. But do you know what? There's always like the couple that just like comes like right through. And it's like, where did you come from? Because I felt like I muted that word and like, it's like all the, but I don't know. I'm still excited. We have a favorable schedule whenever that may come out. The Super Bowls in Santa Clara, a lot of signs pointing up for us. Robert Saleh on the defense, Kyle Shanahan could focus on the offense. They're going to extend Brock Purdy. They're going to extend George Kittle, probably throw Fred Warner in there, Juwan Jennings, keep those guys around. I'm sure you guys share the same sentiments that you're excited as well.
Yeah.
Did I see that Jeff Garcia is going to be the quarterback's coach in place of Brian Greasy? Is that official?
Really?
I
I didn't
wish.
see that.
No, it's Mick Lombardi.
I just saw
It was
that,
Lombardi as well. Yeah.
30
it's
minutes before we came on air. I don't know if that's official, but I
That's,
saw something like that.
Mick Lombardi.
Mick
the son of
Lombardi
Mike
is
Lombardi.
the quarterback coach.
Yeah, he's replacing Greasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
Where'd
love
you
to
see
see
that?
Jeff Garcia do that. That'd be awesome. But
That'd be awesome.
That would be
I
pretty cool.
literally saw something right before we came on. I was like, really? Jeff Garcia is going to step into that? I was like, okay. But I hadn't seen anything else, so I didn't know because I've been in a bubble.
I hope
Yeah.
I come across that. I hope that's true.
Yeah,
I would
I
like that.
literally was. Now I'm gonna look. I might have screenshotted because I'm a screenshotter. What I do in my life, like, ooh, that's news. I need to screenshot that.
No, I'm excited about
He
the
says
season.
they lied to you.
What's that?
I'm
They
excited
lied
about
to
the
you.
season. I don't care if we could have a first place schedule. I still be excited. Like we ain't scared of no motherfuckers out there.
Yeah,
Like, shoot, we still the 49ers. Niners, bitch. Like, fuck around, find out. Like,
Right.
Hey,
like don't let last
Straight up.
season fool you. That was an anomaly.
Yes, it
We
was.
coming back and we punching people in the mouth. So yeah, worry. Oh yeah, man. Listen, drop that schedule. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
I'm
I've
on my
already seen the
Yamador
teams on
North
that
stuff
schedule.
now. Like, let's go.
Unless every game is played from a Monday to Thursday night turnaround, there is absolutely no way that this year's schedule can be as tough as last year's schedule. That was just an absolute cannonball run of a schedule last year. So for them
Yeah,
to
with like the bye weeks
Yeah,
and
the 5 in a row bye week teams. Yeah.
and then Buffalo and Green Bay back-to-back weeks. By the way, I looked that up. Nobody's ever done that before.
Yeah.
of course.
Definitely none of the West Coast teams. None of them have ever gone to Buffalo and Green Bay back to back after I put it from Thanksgiving after, or excuse me, it wasn't Thanksgiving after. It was like November something after. That's insane. Like snow week. Oh, here's another snow week. Oh, enjoy. Like, give me a break. Yeah. Go back to the old people that made the schedule in Major League Baseball. Like, have those people do the NFL schedule as well. They used to do it by hand. They did it for years. Bring those people back on. Those are the people I want.
It's an old guy named Al who is probably a Seahawks fan and hates the 49ers. That's why we always got to go
Every
there on a Thursday.
stupid Thursday night game.
Travel the most miles.
God's sakes.
Screw
Crazy
you,
Juice.
Al.
It was crazy. That was a trap game in 2022. They lost on opening day in the pouring rain because this team, as soon as it rains, they don't know how to win. So yeah, that's a whole other scenario.
I'm actually curious to see if we actually play one of the international games.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the Cleveland one. I'm feeling pretty froggy on that, to be quite frank.
Is that's the London one?
The Tottenham one, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. It would be nice if they played in Germany. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'll be in London in July, so going
I
back.
hope not. Like, because if that's the case, then that means they're playing Indianapolis. That means there'd be no Indianapolis trip this year, and that's the end of the show. Everybody go home.
We're still there. It's weird.
Goodbye.
What the heck is
There we
going
go.
on?
Goodbye,
No!
Oh
everybody.
my gosh. I don't know how
There
to
we
work
go.
this thing. There you go.
Well,
All right.
time's up.
Woo! All right. Oh, hey, look at the time. Wow.
Hello there.
Sorry, folks.
I guess that's the
The range
pre-2 minute
has started
warning, everybody.
again.
Okay.
Signals out.
I was actually trying to be prepared and pull up the thing. So when Jess goes boom, I can be like, I'm on it.
Ty's like,
Fucked it all up.
use your hat. What's your hurry? Thanks for showing up.
Fucked it all up.
Yeah, they changed it. So like when you go on like the full screen now, like we
Uh-huh.
all like disappear.
We'll mail you
Okay.
the leftovers. It's fine. Go home.
It's just Sloppy Joe's. You know.
Sloppy Joe's, get out.
Oh my God, just
Take your
sloppy
Jeep
Joes.
Wranglers and leave.
Yeah, I know.
The good news is you can drive in the woods. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, look at that.
Oh my
Hey.
gosh.
All right. So let's go to that hurry up offense in the 2-minute warning, please. And Becca, you're up.
I got nothing. Tariffs. That's what I've been talking about
Tariffs.
for days of my life. But yeah, look, free agency will tell us some things about what we'll do in the draft. And, I'm happy to have Rob Saleh back, and I hope, he's able to work some magic on the defensive side, and, we'll see what shakes out otherwise, and go Niners. Here we go. It's getting close.
Kai Alston.
Yeah, as I mentioned, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, the combine is one of the few times a year that all these GMs and everybody gets together in the same place, same time, and they're talking face to face. So a lot of stuff is already going down in the background. Ignore stuff you hear from others, because there's a lot of flies on the wall that try to pick up on things at the combine, but they don't know nothing. But as soon as Monday drops, you're going to be hearing a whole lot of stuff that's already done. So just be prepared for the wave. And some of it you probably already know, like Dre, hitting the wild. So just take it easy and wait for it.
Maddie B.
There's a reason so many guys are re-signing with their teams right now. You know, outside of T. Higgins, who's being forced to re-sign with his team. But like Zach Bond, for example, with Philadelphia, a lot of these guys that are hitting the market are already kind of, you know, some of them are already running back. So that means they've probably already kind of silently gone out to the market, like Ty just said. They know what's going on. They know the drill. If you want to go to Foxborough or someplace like that, there's going to be a lot of money available for you. If you don't, you want to go win, cut your hair real close, right? Buy some beans and some tuna because you might need it.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you, as always, for coming through. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Shout out to Faithful Gear. Go get your gear at faithfulgear209.com. Yeah, we shouldn't be surprised by what we've heard and what has been done so far. You know, it was to be expected. So, guys, stay faithful. Be excited because we have a lot to be excited about. And yeah, like Becca said, Robert Sala's back, and Kyle Shanahan will be focusing on the offense. And, you know, that's about it. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next week. Go Niners.
Remember, Kyler Murray's still 5'9". Bang, bang.
And of course, for the upstart 49ers, they're 6 yards away from Pontiac. 3rd and 3.
We'll see a pickup sometime on the right side, possibly.
Montana looking.